Hi everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Rocket Fuel, your daily update of everything that's happening in the Rocket Pool community. Okay, so I got some tips about what I should do on Sundays about having a roll-up episode, and I think I'm going to start doing that from next week. Is where on Sundays, instead of having maybe I might have two episodes on Sundays, one regular update for the previous 24 hours, and another one that kind of has an update for everything that happened in the previous week. I think the good thing about that is people who might not have time to watch 10 minutes every day will be able to just update once a week and get an idea of the main things that are happening. So one of the main things that's happened in the last 24 hours, or actually over the last couple of days, is that the snapshot votes that we talked about earlier on in the week, two of them have reached quorum, and one of them is about to reach quorum with 3 days left. So it looks like some of the changes that the community has wanted to pDAO in funds investment is going to go through. So that's really exciting to see. You can go to vote.rocketpool.net, I think, to see the votes yourself and read the details and vote on them if you are a node operator and have delegated your effective RPL stake to your address, whichever address you want to vote with. You'll have to have done it before the votes went live to be able to vote on this round, but from future votes, I'm sure there's going to be lots of them. You can vote on that. Today on trading, we had a couple of really good discussions that were really organic and kind of came up in response to either tweets or comments. So one of this was a comment by Polinia, who was liberosist on rETH Finance, made a comment about staking being more user friendly and more accessible, and Jasper, I think, and a couple of other people said that Rocket Pool is the way to do that. Your barrier to entry is less because you need 16 ETH instead of 32 ETH, and also the documentation is absolutely amazing, and it's possible to become a node operator far more easily than doing it through solo staking. So it actually led to a really good discussion about people talking about what it means to be someone who runs a node, and how what their responsibility should be, and whether or not lay people should be validators or not. So there are a lot of arguments that are being made, and where that line of responsibility and ease kind of draws. And sometimes if you make something too easy, people can not understand the gravity of it, and sometimes if you make something too difficult, even people who are technically capable might not be able to do it. So there's a fine line that needs to be found. My personal story about staking ETH was that I bought a validating machine, my Nook, after reading some of the machines that people had built in the Rocket Pool community, and I kind of matched one of those machines. And then a family member who has a job as a software engineer kind of helped me put the thing together a little bit and kind of get Linux installed on there. And then I went through it without having done any command line interface stuff ever before. Went through it step by step using all the documents and like a total noob, and staked directly to mainnet without going through testnet or anything like that. So it's definitely possible to do. The steps, the documents are made so well and so clearly that it's fine to do it. But then just because you can do it doesn't mean you can maintain it. And I've been in support a couple of times myself that I talked about yesterday. I almost got slashed once. Just because you can do it doesn't mean you should do it. I'm going to say I should do it, obviously, because I am doing it, but there's definitely some difficulties involved. So that was a really good discussion. If you want to go back and read it, I think it's worth your time. Another discussion came up was about this comment. Crypto said that, guys, this is only channel awake. What happens after withdrawals enabled? Our ETH holders suddenly want out for whatever reason. Obviously, they can just swap for ETH, but if pools get too unbalanced, is there a scenario where mini pools are exited to return stake as ETH? If so, in what order is a mini pool exited? So this actually brought up a really good discussion about what happens when the person exits a mini pool and what rETH becomes available for people to buy. But it kind of changed from that to talking about what it means, like commission. And Marcel made some really good points about how we have a lot of demand for node operators right now from people like Patricio and Marco Barco, who are two of the biggest rocket pool whales, node operator whales. They've got like hundreds of mini pools between them. It was a whale marriage that you might have heard of. There's a lot of people waiting on the sidelines to like take up, become node operators. The once like, and finding that middle point where the commission sweet spot is like a real active discussion that's happening. But we definitely are trying to figure this out about where where the commission should go. So this was actually a really, really good conversation that happened about the commission rates, about going forward, and this chart about where most people started their mini pools. It's like everybody waited for 20% until the fixed rate became 15%. Whether there should be a reduction of 15% to make it more competitive with other staking LSD providers. It might be something to think about, definitely. I think once the lesser bonded ETH, the 8 plus 2.4 goes through, then we'll be moving the commission down to maybe 14%, and then as we reduce the LEB requirements, the commission will probably go down further as well. So there's a lot of stuff happening on that, but this was a really, really good discussion about why we should have different levels of commission and where we should end up. So if you've got some time, go back and read that. This is a comment about something that I've kind of touched on the last few days in a row, about Joe talking about where Flashbots fits with their MEV boost. So this person wrote a comment on Reddit about the OFAC affair and just highlighting that Rocket Pool will be forcing users to use MEV boost, and that's a bad idea because there might be censored transactions within that. So then Joe responds by saying that he clarifies the terminology, that MEV boost is just the plumbing and it's the relays that are the more important thing. And then what's going to happen is we'll be giving people an option of what relay to run. But he says at the end as well, like, don't take this as gospel, just some insight of where we are today and why packing MEV boost the smart stack isn't the end of the world. So it's just a matter of making sure that the framework is in place for people to use the relays that are available, and you'll have a flavor of relays hopefully by the time the merge happens, depending on what your risk appetite is and what you want to do. There will definitely be some relays available that will not censor any transactions. It might not happen like right away, but I'm not exactly sure, but I presume that there'll be those available right away. But you can always get more information about that by coming into trading and asking Joe yourself. The next thing is a DeFi protocol called Ribbon Finance, which sells covered calls, which are option trading. So Ribbon Finance has added liquidity incentives for the rETH product. So it started off as like 10,000% APR, like beginning to, because the amount of rETH in the pool is quite low. But as that's gone on, like the percentage has now come down to 428%, which when you see what incentives are available for other products, then this APY is like really, really, really great. And because the capacity of the pool is only 1,000 rETH, it's expected that that number will stay very high for quite a while. So Jasper says that the Ribbon Finance liquidity incentives for the rETH Rocket Pool covered call vault are live, currently enjoying 800% APR, and with a cap of only 1,000 rETH, this yield is not going away, getting quick. So there's a couple of things that I should mention about this, and you can go to this Twitter thread and like get some more information. But first of all, selling options is risky. So this is really, 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 really risky. So one of the things that you should note is a couple of weeks ago, ETH had a really big pump, and because of that, the rewards for that week, cumulative rewards, went from 1.5% after 4 weeks down to minus 10% because ETH outperformed the strike point so much. If that happens again and we get a huge pump in the next few weeks, you could expect to lose a big chunk of your rETH that you deposit into the pool. So with that said, please be aware that this is a very, 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 very risky product, but the rewards are really incredible right now. So what happens? You get paid in the RBN token, and the RBN token is around 25 cents each. But what happens is the value it takes is against the rETH that you deposit. So the yields are really, really great right now, like really amazing. So if you have the risk appetite to put some rETH in there, you can actually deposit rETH or ETH. If you deposit ETH, then the Ribbon protocol converts it to rETH on the background, on the back end. So you can just deposit your ETH as well if you want. You can read these comments and see how it works. But yeah, they're giving 24,000 RBN tokens, and that's quite juicy. Basically, those rewards are really good. So it's definitely something to keep in mind about what your risk appetite looks like and whether you want to do that. I presume that this pool is going to get full very quickly, so it might end up being maybe around 100% APY. That is still incredible. Like, those are really, really great numbers. So basically what will happen is you deposit your rETH. So there's 3 transactions you have to do. 1 is you have to authorize Ribbon to get access to your ETH. 2, you deposit your ETH or rETH, and then 3, you stake it as into the covered call option. So those are the 3 steps that you'd have to do, 3 sets of permission. Don't forget to actually do the stake option if you decide to do this. Otherwise, your money won't be ready, your rETH won't be ready. It'll go active on Friday because we're getting in every Friday is when the new contract starts. So you get in on a Friday and you can only get out on the following Friday or whenever else, but it'll be on the Friday that you can get out. So it might be a few days before you can get your money out. However, get the RBN rewards, sell them and buy more rETH or whatever you want. It's going to be really good for a while. I'm not sure when the reward is going to finish, but or when the liquidity incentives are going to finish. But for the moment, you're going to get some really nice rewards. So it might be worth you doing that. Anyway, I've been talking for quite a while now. So I'm going to stop. But I hope you've all had a nice week. It's definitely been a really great week for me. I've really enjoyed making these episodes for you all. And I have gotten so much love and so much amazing feedback and so many ideas and suggestions for ways to improving this. And those are things that I'm going to start doing over the next couple of weeks. So some of the ideas of things that you might get is like a new podcast. So the episode that you hear from me will also be available in podcast form for people who don't care about seeing my face, which I'm sure might be some of you or maybe a lot of you. But anyway, have a great last bit of your weekend, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye. Let me turn this off.